today's practice, we'll be focusing on the throat chakra, and the element that goes with the throat chakra is the space element. So we'll be working a lot on balancing, and we'll be finding space in the back of the body. This is one of my favorite practices. There's handstands in it, which I always appreciate. But also that opening and the sensation that you can feel at the end of the practice is something that I really enjoy. So to get started, we're just coming to a cross-legged position, and we'll just find a little bit of movement in the body, this kind of feeling into those parts of the body that you maybe didn't feel into so far today. The spine, the hips, the shoulders. I'll just take a little bit of time at the start of the practice, instead of just straight away rushing into it. Most of the time we come onto our mat in a little bit of a rush. And so we just want to take a little bit of time just to get settled in, just to feel firstly into our body and our physical presence. And then we'll be connecting into our breath a little bit. And as we connect into our breath, we'll allow our mind to just settle a little bit more into the present moment. So once you feel okay, then you bring the crown of the head up towards the sky, and we're rising through the heart space. So the throat chakra is the 5th chakra. The base chakra is the root chakra. Muladhara chakra, which is all about being grounded. The element that goes with this chakra is the element earth. And then we have the 2nd chakra, which is the sacral chakra. The element here is the water. And this practice is very much about flowing and moving. And this area relates to our sense of creativity and play. This is also the area where our emotions resides. The next is our Manipura. This is our navel chakra. The element here is fire, and we know all of that whenever we do core exercises, then we straight away kind of light that fire. We still feel the heat arriving in our body. The next chakra, the 4th chakra, is our heart chakra, Anahata chakra. The heart chakra relates to our ability to feel kindness and compassion, but it also relates to this sense of self, this real sense of true self. That's that part of us that doesn't change. So it doesn't matter what kind of job we have, or what kind of clothes we wear, or what kind of hair day we have, and the friends that we have. None of that is important when we look into the heart chakra. What we find there is that part of us that never changes, that always remains the same. So then the 5th chakra is the throat chakra. That's part of this practice. The element here, the element in the heart is air. And the element here in the throat chakra is space. So space encompasses all the other elements: the air of the heart, the fire of the navel, the water of the sacrum, and the earth of the root chakra. The throat chakra is all about, now that we have connected into who we really are, that sense of true self and our truth, now it is all about expressing this truth. So now it becomes about living our lives in line with our truth, with who we really are. And I think we all sometimes struggle with that because of social pressure. Our friends, we sometimes just give in a little bit, or give up, you should maybe say, on who we really are and the real values that we have. So in our throat chakra, we are focusing on that. And the throat chakra includes the shoulders, and it also includes the ears, and that means that we also relate to hearing the truth of others without having judgments. So we're letting go of the judgment, and we find truth in just being who we really are. So take a deep breath in here. And on the exhalation, just feel how the energy is sinking down all the way through the base of the spine. And on the inhalation, we're rising up through the crown of the head, up towards the sky. And on the exhalation, we're sinking all the way down. Become aware now, as you narrow the back of the throat, on the sound that you can make in the throat. We're trying to make the sound of so on the inhalation, and the sound hum on the exhalation. And the sound is actually naturally there. When we just narrow the throat, that's the sound of so on the inhale, and the sound of hum on the exhale. Now this sound of so and hum is what we're trying to maintain during our practice to help to keep the focus into the throat. So this gentle narrowing, and the sound so on the inhale, and hum on the exhale. So the meaning of this little mantra, this so hum mantra, is I am that, or expressed in a different way, whatever I'm meant to be, I already am. Getting this understanding that everything that we need is already there within us if we're just allowing ourselves to connect inside, within, to our true self. Bring your hands into your heart space on Jali Mudra. On the inhalation, rising your arms up towards the sky. Just keep your arms nice and soft. And on the exhalation, open up. The hands come next to the throat or next to the ears in our Prana Mudra. And we'll be working with this mudra quite a bit. On the inhale, rise it up. And on the exhalation, drawing the hands back down through the crown of the head, the forehead, the throat, back into the heart space. So we do that 2 more times. Inhale, rising up. So in the throat. Exhale, opening up. Hum. Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, draw the energy down. Crown chakra, forehead, throat, heart chakra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open up. Connecting here into the ears, the throat, the shoulders. Inhale, rise. Exhale, draw the hands back down into the heart space. Take a deep breath in here. Take a moment to connect into what you stand for and your values, into who you really are without having any expectations and any judgments from your environment. Connecting to that part of you. And then taking a deep breath in. On the exhalation, release your hands out in front. Let your head just hang down. Find some softness in the spine, rounding into the lower back. Release into the back of the neck. Connecting into the earth and finding this sense of gratitude. Giving thanks to your day, your practice, to yourself for showing up and for being here. And from here we either roll over the knees or we're pressing ourselves up, and we'll be meeting in our downward facing dog pose. And once we're there, we'll be pedaling through the heels, and we'll just kind of feeling into the backs of the legs, behind the knees, the calves, releasing the heels down in the direction of the ground. If your heels come all the way down, if you're lucky to have long hamstrings, then you're welcome to lift your toes up away from the ground to get more of a stretch. If your heels are not totally onto the ground, you just gently move maybe in and out, moving the heels away and then towards. You're also welcome to bend your legs and then kind of straighten your legs. That kind of feels good. And then we'll slowly walking ourselves all the way to the front of the mat, and we find ourselves in our Uttanasana, our straight forward bend. Feet can be together or they can be apart, doesn't really matter. And then just bring your hands to the backs of the legs and give yourself a little bit of a massage here. Bring the attention to the backs of the legs. Whenever we bring our attention into a part of our body, blood automatically will start to flow more into this part, especially the hamstrings, backs of the legs. If you have tightness there, just give them a nice little bit of love, just to release, just to let go of any tension that you might be holding there. If we're sitting down a lot in chairs during the day, this area can really get quite sore. Tight, not sore, tight. And then on your inhalation, bring your hands onto your knees, have your halfway lift, shortening here through the back body, and on the exhalation, sinking forward and down. Now on the inhalation, coming all the way up, you're welcome to bend your legs so you can keep them straight. Bring your arms high up overhead. On the exhalation, find your Prana Mudra, hands next to the ears, elbows out. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, draw the fingertips down through all the chakras. So crown chakra, forehead chakra, throat, heart, navel, sacrum, and the root chakra. Inhale, big circle up. Exhale, circle, sweep the arms all the way down into your forward bend. On your inhalation, have a halfway lift. On your exhalation, stepping your left leg back. Just take a moment here. Just feel into the hips. Just releasing any tension that you might be holding in the hips. And feel into that space. And then on your inhalation, rising up, crescent lunge, arms up overhead. And on the exhalation, sinking down into your Prana Mudra, hands face towards your throat. On the inhalation, rising up. On the exhalation, sinking down, Prana Mudra, finding that pulsation. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Take a deep breath in here now. Keep that activation in the back leg. On the exhalation, bring your hands down. Step it back, high plank. Connecting here into the belly button. That fire element is allowing here the core to wake up. Finding some engagement. Take a deep breath in. You can bring your knees down onto the ground or keep them off the ground. On the exhalation, lower down. Halfway or less. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, lower down. Halfway or less. Inhale, roll it up. Knees can be on or off the ground, opening up here into the heart space. And on the exhalation, push it back, downward facing dog pose. And when we're back into this pose, you just always find a little bit of time. If you're a regular practitioner, you might just be very familiar with this pose. But try to always, when you arrive back into this pose, just to find something new. Maybe a new space that you can move into, a new opening, a new sensation. So we'll be leading with the left leg. On the inhalation, rise it higher behind you. You're welcome to come on high up onto your tippy toes of your right foot. You're also welcome to lift into the hip, but keep your legs straight. And on the exhalation, draw your knee into your chest. Step your foot forward and all the way through. Inhalation rises you up, crescent lunge. Arms go up overhead. Exhalation, sinking down, Prana Mudra, hands next to the ears. Inhalation rises you up. Feel that activation coming from the back leg. Exhale, sinking down. So it's like your toes are pushing you up. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down. Inhale here. On the exhalation, bring your hands down. We're stepping the right leg up towards the sky, standing splits. You're welcome to bring your left hand behind your calf if that feels good, or you keep them onto the ground. Take a deep breath in here. On the exhalation, land your right foot. Don't worry about your half splits if it feels terrible. Then just feel only into the sensations and let go of the judgment. It's really okay. We're just trying to find space and opening. On the inhalation, rising up. On the exhalation, sinking down. Inhalation rises you up. Exhalation, Prana Mudra, hands on either side of the head. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, fingers together, draw them down through all the chakras. Sahasrara, Anya, Vishuddha, Anahata, Manipura, Swadhisthana, Muladhara Chakra. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, sinking forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping your right leg back. Checking in with your breath for a moment as you open up here into the hips. How are you going with your so hums? Are they still there? Or maybe you've lost them for a moment. Then see if you can come back to that. So the sound of so on the inhale and the sound of hum on the exhale. As we're just very gently here finding the connection into our throat chakra. On the inhalation, rising up, crescent lunge. On the exhalation, sinking down. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, sinking down. Feel the beautiful sensation of the pulsations. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink down. Inhale now here. Exhale, hands down. Step it back, high plank. Find the activation in your core. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, lower down. Halfway or less. Knees can be on or off the ground. On the inhale, press it back up. On the exhalation, lower down. Halfway or less. Inhale, roll it up. Knees on or off the ground. Cobra, up dog. Exhale, pushing it back, downward facing dog pose. Reconnecting into the back of the body, creating that sense of spaciousness. The more space we have in the back of the body, the more freedom we can find in our movement. Staying with your breath, so and hum. Inhalation, the right leg flies up towards the sky, maybe coming high up onto the tippy toes of your left leg, maybe reaching high up, opening up into the hips. You're welcome to do so, but the leg remains straight. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, draw your knee into your chest, step your foot forward and through. On the inhalation, rise it up, crescent lunge, arms go up overhead. On the exhalation, Prana Mudra, sinking down nice and deep. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, sink it down. Inhale, rise. Keep the connection into the back leg. Exhale, sink. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down. Lift your left leg higher behind you, standing splits. Just allowing the leg to travel wherever it travels. Maybe your right hand goes behind your calf. Maybe you find that more challenging in your balance and you prefer to keep the hand onto the ground. Exhalation, closing the gate. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Inhale all the way up. Reaching the arms up overhead. Exhale, Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Fingertips meet. Exhale, drawing the hands down, finding that connection in all the energy centers in your body. Allowing the energy to flow freely from the root to the crown of the head. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, circle sweep the arms all the way down. Inhale is a halfway lift. On the exhalation, rise the left leg up behind you, standing splits. You feel free to do with your right hand what you feel is right for you. The more the crown of the head goes down, the higher the foot can rise. Take a deep breath in here. On the exhalation, land your back foot. Inhalation, crescent lunge. Exhalation, sink it down, Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down, step it back, high plank. Activate your core, lower down, chaturanga halfway or less. Inhale, press it back up. If you choose to do so, exhale, lower down. Inhale, roll it up, opening up into the heart space. Exhale, pushing it back. Downward facing dog pose. Connecting into the back of the body, feeling here what's there, what you're working with, stretching through the heels. Left leg is leading. On the inhalation, rise it up, opening up. This feels a little bit like a standing splits. So feel that how you push your hands into the ground to create more space. Chest goes down more so that the foot can rise up more. On the exhalation, draw your knee into your chest, step your foot forward and through. On the inhalation, rise it up, crescent lunge. Exhale, sinking down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down. Step it up, standing splits. Find that space, find that reach. Deep breath in. Exhalation, closing the gates. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, draw the hands down through the chakras. Inhale, so, rise it up. Exhale, hum, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. Right leg, rise it up on the exhalation. Take a deep breath in here, find more space. Exhalation, land your right foot behind you. Inhalation, lift you up. Crescent lunge pose. Exhalation, Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Keep that back leg nice and active. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down, step it back, high plank, lower down chaturanga, add a push-up if you choose to do so. Otherwise, roll it forward and up. Exhale, push it back. Downward facing dog pose. Come back to the breath. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. Letting go of all the stories that might be there in your head. All those paths, they change all the time. The thoughts, the stories, the emotions. Connecting to that that stays, the breath, your true self, the awareness. Right leg is leading. On the inhalation, rise it up. Find space. On the exhalation, draw your knee into your chest, step your foot forward and through. Inhalation, crescent lunge, open it up. Exhalation, sinking down, Prana Mudra. Inhalation, rise. Exhalation, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Feel that you're creating more space. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down, step it forward, standing splits, left leg rises up towards the sky. Open up as much as you can, deep breath in. On the exhalation, closing the gates. Inhale your halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, rise it all the way up. Exhale, Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, drawing the hands all the way down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward and down. And now we're just going to stay here for a moment, catching our breath, feeling into the backs of the legs, noticing the sensations, the heat that has arrived maybe in the back of the legs, maybe in your whole body. If you feel good, maybe shake it out. If it feels good, maybe shake into the shoulders, open and close the mouth a couple of times. Sometimes we're so still in our practice, even though movement feels so good. We're made to move. All that water in our body, always connecting into the water element. So movement feels nice. Don't need that much stillness and rigidity. So now we'll be finding some balance. So maybe you're balance challenged. That's okay. Let go of any expectations. So when we balance, we need to really connect to ourselves. Letting go of comparisons, letting go of comparisons with other people, but especially letting go of comparisons to ourselves. So what we do often is we compare how we were last week or how we were yesterday, or we compare ourselves with our expectations that we might have. So let go of all of that. It doesn't matter. If you hold your balance, you hold your balance. If you lose your balance, you just lose your balance. That's fine. And then you just come back and you find your balance again. So we'll be picking up with the first two fingers and thumbs onto the big toe of the left leg. Now, if you have a lot of tightness in the hamstring, maybe you prefer to hold on to your knee. Yep, so that's always an option, holding on to the knee. But if you have a little bit of opening or a lot of opening, we're holding on to the big toe with the first two finger and thumb, so it's pistol grip. We're spreading the toes wide of our right foot and we're grounding down through the toes. Our toes are our best friends because they will actually help us to stay balanced. So here we go. You can keep your legs straight or you can bend your legs. On this side, I'll show you with a bent leg, but you can also keep your legs straight and coming up. Yep, so put the weight into the right leg. On the inhalation, coming up, bringing your leg with you. We're trying to find an upright position. Once you're upright, you can straighten your leg out as much or as little as you want to. If you're comfortable to straighten your leg all the way out, you straighten your leg all the way out. We try to just find stillness here, have a steady gaze, let go of any of the thoughts that are there maybe in your mind. Focus on your breath, the so and the hum. We take a deep breath in here, maybe lift your leg up a little bit. On the exhalation, taking the leg out to the side. And as the leg goes out to the side, the right arm goes out to the side. And we create this big capital T. And we're trying to feel that our trunk is centered. And it's okay to wobble a little bit, and it's okay to lose your balance. It's okay to hold onto your knee. There's nothing wrong with that. So whenever we're balancing, the standing leg has to work 5 times as hard. So just give yourself a little bit of a break. On the inhalation, we bring the leg back out in front. The right hand can go into the waist. Lift the leg up a little bit. The leg is either bent or straight. As we keep it up, and we find here our balance, as we activate strongly into the quads, the hip flexors, and the core. So feel with your fingertips that your belly is really drawn inwards towards your spine. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, swing your leg back and your trunk forward and find your warrior 3. The hands are still onto the hips. And feel now with your hips that that left hip wants to go up, but press it down. And then feel that you're not diving, but that you're flying. So the chest is lifted, the heart is leading. Take a deep breath in. Turn your back foot in a 45-degree angle. Bend your right leg slightly. Land your back foot. Trikonasana. Now don't go deep into Trikonasana. Have your hand onto your knee. Maybe even higher. We just want to find a release here. Pushing the right hip forward. And just finding that space here. We're trying to keep the right side of the body long. And we're trying to keep the shoulders over the legs. So you can always choose to look down for a moment to just check in with that alignment. Take a deep breath in here. On the exhalation, bring your gaze down, slightly bend into your right leg. We'll fly ourselves forward, not catching ourselves into our half moon. We're just here in balance. And the lower the hand goes and the higher the leg goes, the stronger this pose gets. So just feel where you need to be. And we take a deep breath in here. And we exhale as we find our hum. Inhale. And then on the exhalation, bend your right leg. Land your left foot a long way behind you and swing it back, peaceful warrior. Stretching it out. And on the exhalation, landing your elbow onto your knee and the left hand travels up overhead, and we just find a moment here. Extended angle pose, but today it's a real resting pose. So take that weight of the elbow into the knee. And we'll continue our journey of balancing. So on your next inhalation, bring your back heel off the ground. And then keep your left hand up as you rise your right hand up, crescent lunge. On the exhalation, sinking down, Prana Mudra. On the inhalation, rise it up. And on the exhalation, sink it down, Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Inhale, lean forward. Keep on leaning forward. The hands stay next to the ears, and we find our warrior 3. Still Prana Mudra, still connecting into the throat, so and hum. And now we remember that left hip wants to come up, so we press it down as much as we can. And we try to fly and keep the heart open. And on your next inhalation, rise it up. The left leg comes through. The right hand, goes to the knee or to the outside edge of the foot. And then we're twisting here. The gaze can stay forward to help you with your balance, or it can go back towards your left thumb. Turning your back hand around, we'll be kicking the back foot, the left foot, into the hand. We're not finding a dancer's pose, really. We're finding a standing splits, but we go kind of through a dancer's pose. And we keep on leaning and reaching and leaning and reaching. And you're welcome to bend your right leg and you try to keep your balance. And then eventually the hand is landing onto the ground and we kick the foot and we're opening up as much as we can. You feel all that stretch into the hamstrings, all that opening. And then on the exhalation, we're closing the gate. Both legs next to each other, and we release and we stretch. And we feel into the legs and maybe feel the difference between the right and the left. Maybe one feels a little bit warmer. Maybe one feels a little bit more stretched out than the other. And so then we'll be continuing our balancing journey on the opposite side. First, we just check in for a moment just to see what's the story. So what's the story that you build up on the first side? Let go of that story. Whatever happened on the first side is not going to happen on the second side. Let go of comparisons and sides. So we're picking up with the first 2 fingers and thumbs onto the right big toe. So we grip it around, have a nice solid grip. You're always welcome to bring your hand to your knee, of course. If you're holding onto your big toe, this time I'm coming up with a straight leg. You can bend both your legs as you did on the first side, or you can keep your legs straight and lift it up and coming up into your balance. Left hand can go into your waist, or it can just be next to your hip, whatever feels right. Keep on lowering the right hip down as you lift the right foot up away from the ground. Utthita Hasta Paringastasana, this pose is called. So just find that stillness and feel on this side how it feels. And we take a deep breath in, maybe lift the leg up a little bit. On the exhalation, we're extending the right leg to the right. As the right leg goes out, the left arm goes out, and we create this big capital T. T for trust in our own abilities. And we just find that stillness and all the shaking that's there, we just let it be there. It doesn't worry us at all. We're just hanging out here with our big capital T. And then on the inhalation, we bring the leg back out in front. Left hand can go into the waist, and we rise the leg up. We're trying to keep it as high as we can. It can be straight, but it can also be bent. Activating here into the core, activating into the hip flexor and the quad. And it's a hard pose to maintain. I can feel that too. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, swing your leg back as your trunk goes forward, warrior 3. So here we work the opposite muscle. Now we work the hamstring. We're trying to lower the hip down of the left leg as much as we can so that it's not the glutes, the buttocks doing the work, but we're trying to really allow the hamstring. All that lengthening, now it needs to shorten. Turning the back foot 45-degree angle, land your back leg, Trikonasana. So the hand, let's not go too deep today. Hand is just onto the knee, or maybe a little bit lower, maybe even higher, doesn't matter. We're trying to have that opening into the front of the body, so when you look down, your head and your shoulders are over your leg. Make that more important than how deep you go. Bringing so and hum back into our breath. And then take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, looking down. So we're flying forward without catching ourselves with the hand. Half moon. So it's the same position as your Trikonasana. The hand can stay nice and high and the foot can stay nice and low. Or you can challenge yourself more, bringing the hand down and rising the foot up. Taking a deep breath in here. Exhaling fully. And then bending into your left leg, landing your right foot behind you. Reach it back, peaceful warrior, just for a moment to find a nice release in the spine. And on the exhalation, landing the elbow onto the knee, extended angle pose. Just a resting pose today, so just find it nice, reach and stretch into the side body. So and hum in the breath. And then on the inhalation, bring your back heel up. Keep your right hand up. The left hand joins, crescent lunge. Exhale, sinking down, Prana Mudra. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink it down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink it down. Inhale, lean forward. Keep on leaning, pulling yourself forward. Warrior 3. This time the hands are next to the ears in our Prana Mudra. And we lower the right hip down as much as we can. And we keep the heart open. And we find that stillness. And then on the inhalation, we're coming up to standing. And the right hand goes behind you. This time I'll pick up onto the outside edge of the foot as we're extending the right leg out. But you can also hold onto the outside of the knee as we did, as I showed on the other side. Gaze can stay forward, can go out sideways, or it can go back towards your back thumb. Find that stillness, find the trust. Turning your hand around, releasing your foot, kick it back, catching it with your hand, leaning forward, and then opening up into your standing splits position. Feel that reach, crown of the head going down, foot kicking up, and then slowly release it down, straight forward bend, letting go. Feeling here, what's happening. On the inhale, so halfway lift. And on the exhalation, we're sinking down. And we do that again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Just hang for a moment here. Catching your breath. So and hum. Feel what's happening in the back of the legs. And then on your inhalation, have a halfway lift. On the exhalation, bring your hands down, step it back, lower down. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, roll it up. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Now in our down dog, we'll walk our hands all the way back towards the back of the room. And we're hanging down here in a forward bend. We know this pose very well today. We feel into the hips. So we're going to make our way all the way to the front of the hips with a little sequence. And I'll warn you, it's a little bit of a challenging sequence, but it's fun. A lot of opening into the backs of the legs. So here we go. We bring the hands down next to the feet or just slightly in front of the feet. Releasing the crown of the head down as the left leg flies up towards the sky, standing splits. Take a deep breath in here, lift the leg higher. On the exhalation, halfway lift. Hands still down onto the ground. On the inhalation, warrior 3, hands in front of the heart space. On the exhalation, bring your hands down underneath the tips of the shoulders. Press your hands down. Lift your leg up, so you're welcome to bend your legs. Think mini 3-legged dog here, but then with your arms maybe bent. And on the exhalation, you make a little step forward. Left foot in between the hands. Inhale, the right leg travels up towards the sky. Find that space. I like to bring my hand at the back of the calf, helping me to kind of fold more over the left leg. And then on the inhalation, it's a halfway lift. Exhaling here, and the next inhalation is your warrior 3. Find that lift, find that activation through the back leg. And on the next exhalation, lower your hands underneath the tips of the shoulders and rise up as much as you can through the leg. So my hands are pressing down into the ground and then pushing away from me to lift my leg more up. And on the exhalation, little step in between the hands. Here we go. We should be halfway up onto our mat. Inhale, rising the left leg high up towards the sky, standing splits, crown of the head down towards the ground. Exhalation is your halfway lift. Inhalation is your warrior 3. Exhalation releases the hands down. Now this time you have an option. You can just do what you did into your 3-legged dog, or you can kick it up into a standing splits, or just have a couple of kick-ups into standing handstand splits. So we're just kicking it up, handstand splits. Oh. Maybe holding it, maybe not, it doesn't matter. If you're in your handstand splits, you change your legs over. If you're in your splits, you land your left foot in between the hands and the right leg goes up. Last one, rise it up. Exhalation, halfway lift. Inhalation, lift. Find that space. Exhalation, hands underneath the tips of the shoulders onto the ground. Inhalation, either 3-legged dog, that position, kick it up, or handstand splits here on the second side. So coming up, maybe holding it, maybe not. It doesn't matter. Finding here our balance, finding that space and opening into the hips. And then from here, we're slowly closing the gate, releasing the right leg down, straight forward bend. Take a moment here. And so now we'll be slowing it down. On the inhalation, we're rising the right leg higher behind you. And on the exhalation, we're landing the right foot on the outside edge of the left foot onto the ground. Planting the right hand down, lifting here the left hand up and adding a twist. Finding a tricky transition here. So the left foot that's onto the mat, we lift it up, we bring it around the right, and we step it to the back of the mat. And we find ourselves here into our rock star position. So lifting up through the hips, straightening through the legs, inside, outside edge of the feet is down, or maybe the feet are flat down onto the ground, but we're still grounding through the inside, outside edge. Lift up. And on the exhalation, sinking the hips down, rising the arms high up. Deep breath in. Exhalation, sinking forward and down into our straddle forward bend. So keep on reaching here through the trunk, pushing through the heels, rising up here through the toes. Keep on lengthening here into the front of the body. On the next inhalation, bringing your right hand underneath your left armpit to your left knee. Right shoulder goes to your right knee, and we're stretching and opening it up into our twisted straddle forward bend. So keep on opening up, keep on sinking down through the left sitting bone as much as you can. Your hand maybe is onto the foot, but maybe it's not onto the foot. And your shoulder, maybe it's onto the knee, but maybe it's hovering a long way off the knee. It really doesn't matter where it is. As long as we try to open up into the front of the body, bring the shoulders on top of each other. If you're holding onto your foot, maybe bringing your foot with you. As on the inhalation, you bring yourself up. Tree pose position in the legs, rising the arms, exhalation, extending over the left leg into your Janusasana position. Releasing down through the hips, slowing your breath down as much as you can, just using all that space that you've created before, just using that now to move into. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. Whatever I'm meant to be, I already am. All your abilities, everything you need, it's already there within you. On the inhalation, rising up. Now we don't twist to the knee, we twist away from the knee. The right hand goes onto the left knee and the left hand travels behind you and it tries to move into that spot where it normally lives onto your mat, the top left corner, and we try to open up and lift through the chest, crown of the head up towards the sky. Nice twist here. Keep on grounding your left hand down into the ground. Lift your right knee up so that the foot can be down onto the ground. And then lift yourself up here into your nice opening, either side stretch or more of a back bend into your wild thing. Take a deep breath in here. So your right hand can stay up or you can bring it down onto the ground. We step the right leg all the way forward and through next to the left hand. Maybe you're a bit off your mat and you just wriggle yourself back onto the mat. Crescent lunge. Exhale, sinking down, Prana Mudra. I've been here many times today. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Inhale, rise. And exhale, sink. Take a deep breath in here. On the exhalation, bring your hands down. Standing splits. It's the left leg that rises up behind us, up towards the sky. So feel now that space. And then on the exhalation, land your left foot on the outside of the right foot. The feet are in a line. The left hand presses down onto the ground. And then we're twisting ourselves up, looking up towards the right hand that goes up towards the sky. Glute stretch here. So keep on pressing down through the left hand. The foot that's on the mat, your right foot steps around to the back of the mat, and then we're opening it up here, wild thing. Keep on reaching and opening and finding space and length. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhalation, sinking down, rising up through the trunk, and sinking in between the legs. Opening up here, pushing through the heels, pulling the toes back towards you, finding all that space into the back of the legs. We've been working so hard for this pose. So now utilize that space. Release into it. And then so this time it is the left hand that goes to the right knee. And then the left shoulder goes to the left knee. And we're lifting up in our twist, releasing as much as we can the right sitting bone towards the ground, the shoulders on top of each other, feeling into the side body, releasing the spine. If you're holding on to your left foot, maybe you can bring it with you. As you bring yourself up, foot goes on the inside, rising your arms up, Janusasana, so that's that tree pose position in the legs, sinking down, finding here a nice mandala circle in our seated positions. We're trying to have this little bit of a twist here through the trunk so the shoulders are level to the ground, and from there we're releasing down through the left sitting bone. Getting a nice little stretch into the lower back. And on your inhalation, rise yourself up, twisting away from the knee. So we're trying as much as we can to bring that right hand around to the right top corner of the mat. We're lifting up through the crown of the head. We're lifting through the heart space as we twist. Trying to find a nice deep twist here. Beautiful thing of twisting this way instead of towards the knee is that both sitting bones are so firmly grounded down into the ground. Planting down through the right hand, bringing the left knee up, push the left foot into the ground, open it up here. Maybe a little bit more of a back bend, maybe a little bit more of a side stretch, whatever feels right for you. Releasing tension, finding space in the front of the body. So on the inhalation, you're welcome to bring your left hand up. Oops. Bring your left hand up. Or you can release it down, and then we'll step our right foot all the way around as far forward as we can, and we lift ourselves up into our crescent lunge pose. That was a little bit clumsy. It's a little bit hard. That transition, you end up maybe off your mat. On the exhalation, sinking down, Prana Mudra, straightness in the back leg as much as you can. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sinking down. One more time, inhale, rise. Exhale, sinking down. Now bring your back knee all the way down to the ground. Find your low lunge, bring your hands onto your knees, and just kind of lean back here, finding a nice stretch, nice opening into the front of the right hip. Keep on leaning. If you'd like to add on, you're welcome. Pick up onto your back foot if that feels good. Right or left hand. That feels better for you. You can kick that foot away, or you can pull it in into your half frog position. Pulling the belly button inwards, so that we're not really arching here into the back. We're trying to find straightness in the spine. Crown of the head can go backwards, but not really by bending that much. We're trying to work the hips more than the spine. And then slowly release, finding your half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. So we're kicking through the heel, the hip comes on top of the knee, and then we're extending over the leg. If you feel that you'd like to use all the space that you've created today to find your full splits, then please go ahead. So I'm trying to work on a full split. This is my aim for this year. I have been able to do it before, but not for a while. Not for a long time, actually. So this is my more flexible side, believe it or not. And so we're trying to extend, and then once you feel you can't bring your feet further away from each other, then for today we're going to extend forward over the leg, and we just really move into the hamstring of the left leg as we do so, utilizing all that space that we've created as much as we can. Continue to open up Hanumanasana. A pose that just requires persistence. We just have to do it lots. The more we do it, the more opening we find. And then we'll slowly come out of our half splits, out of our splits into our half splits. And then we're turning our knees over towards the left side of the mat, and we're hugging the left knee into the chest. And we're finding here our twist. So you're very welcome to stay here into your twist. Beautiful pose, the twist, Ardha Machandrasana. Or if you'd like to play around with your Kundalini, the second variation, then you can, sometimes called a side crow. So then we bring the hands down onto the ground. We're lifting the hips up. We're resting the knee and the hip onto the elbow. And then we're finding flight. Maybe just keep the legs as they are, or maybe open them up. Bottom leg that rests onto your elbows. Goes out to the side. And we're trying to keep the left shoulder lifted as much as we can. Straighten the legs as much as we can. And then we land it back into Ardha Machandrasana. Taking a deep breath in here, and on the exhalation, releasing. And we find our Kurmakasana. So we're going out in front. You can kick your feet away from each other a little bit more if you have a lot of space into the glutes, the outside of the hips, or you keep your feet nice and close in. The other option you have is just to straighten your bottom leg out. Like that. So there's always lots of variations for each pose. Just find the variation that's right for you today. On the inhalation, we rise up, and on the exhalation, we'll just be extending forward over the knees. Nice rounding through the spine. Stretching into the outside of the hips, releasing tension, tightness. Anything you might be holding on to, just let it go. See how you're going with your so and your hum and your breath. Coming back to that, narrowing in the throat, connecting into the throat chakra. exhalation, coming up. Bring your hands down. We'll be swinging around, coming into our straddle forward bend, facing the right side of the mat, and we just can find a little bit of movement. If you're going to play around, you can. You can find a handstand. You can find a forearm balance. You can find a headstand. Let me find a headstand today. You can find a straddle coming up if you want to. You don't have to. Only doing inversions if you feel you can do that safely, both for yourself, for your environment. And then we're breaking the legs out and we're landing ourselves again. And lifting ourselves up. Back into the straddle, and then we turn ourselves towards the back of the room and we find our low lunge on the second side. Finding that opening, that reach. Trying not to find too much of a back bend. We're trying to pull the belly button away, a little bit of straightness. Well, there's not real straightness, but that's the feeling into the lower back. So instead of really dipping and bringing the chest up and the belly forward, we're trying to kind of pull the belly button away from the knee. So you're welcome to find any variation that works for you, picking up onto your back leg with either of your hands. Doesn't matter which one, ever feels better for you. Just get a little bit of opening into the front of the left hip now. And then we take a deep breath in. And on the exhalation, release the hands down either side of the right foot. And we're straightening the right leg into a half splits pose, Ardha Hanumanasana. Or if you feel it would be good for you, or you did so on the other side, maybe finding your full Hanumanasana. Finding that space and opening. So first, initially, until the hips are all the way down, we just work on pushing the feet away from each other. It's like a giant leap that we're taking. That's the story of Hanuman as well, our monkey god. Taking a giant leap from Sri Lanka to India to find medicine. So here we find that leap. And then once you feel you can't move your feet any further away from each other, then you go forward, extending over the right leg, finding that full opening into the hamstring. So we've worked a lot into the hamstring. We're trying to work it more and to release into it as much as you can, utilizing the space that we have created as much as we can. So, and hum in our throat. And then we bring ourselves up, half splits, turning towards the left side of the mat, finding our Ardha Chandrasana, our twist. And we can either stay in this beautiful twist, is one of my favorite twists, this one, or you can find your Kuninyasana, and that means that we find that crow position, resting the elbows, one on the knee, one on the thigh. You can also do it on one elbow if you'd like to. And then we find flight, either opening the legs or not. Trying this time to release the right shoulder as much up as we can. Finding space. Landing back into your Ardha Chandrasana for a moment. Taking a deep breath in. And on the exhalation, release to find our Kurmakasana, our cow face pose. You can bring your feet away from each other or keep them close. Deep breath in. Exhalation, sinking forward and down. On the inhalation, coming up. And now we're unfolding the legs. And we come to lay onto our back, to our bridge position. If you'd like to release a little bit into the hips, you're welcome to. You just sway your knees from side to side. And then we'll be finding our bridge rolls. So on the inhalation, we're slowly rolling the spine up, lifting the hips. And on the exhalation, we're slowly releasing it back down. Try to really find awareness in the spine. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. And then now the next time that we're up, we're going to stay there. So inhale, rolling up. If it feels good, maybe interlace your hands so that you can come higher up onto the shoulders. And then keep on pushing the feet into the ground to lift the chest towards the chin, narrowing here into the throat. This is one of the poses that really stimulates the throat chakra. So feel here into that space, the throat, the shoulders, the ears. Checking in, just noticing what is there. Keep on activating into the legs, pressing the feet into the ground and then away from you. And when you do that, you'll feel that automatically the hips are lifting up a little bit more. Keep on breathing, opening up through the chest, allowing the legs just to get a little bit tired. That's okay. It's the last really active pose for the legs. So and hum, I am that. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, release. And so now we'll be finding our shoulder stand next to release the legs. So if a shoulder stand is not right for you, then you find this pose, your Viparita Karani. You can bring your hands underneath your hips. If you have a block or a book, you can also bring that underneath your hips. You don't have to. You can also just interlace your hands behind your knees. If you're okay in your neck, in your throat, and your shoulders, then you can find your shoulder stand position, which means that we rise the legs up. We bring the hands into the lower back, or we bring them up as high as we can into the lower rib cage. And then we're pressing up through the balls of the feet, and we're creating these little lotus flowers in our toes as we pull the toes back towards us. Finding activation here. So there's a lot of lift here, reaching up. Trying to bring the elbows as close together as you can. And also this is a pose, of course, where we work the throat chakra. A lot of shortening into the throat. So as you're in this position, ask yourself the question, is there anything that I'm not expressing? Anything that's important for you, that you're not really putting out into the world, that you're not standing up for, anything you're not saying, anything you're accepting that maybe you shouldn't accept, that it's not part of your values. Asking yourself the question with a lot of kindness, patience, compassion. If you'd like to find a plow or a half plow, you can. You release one leg or both legs up overhead. So this is your half plow. And this is your full plow. If your feet are down onto the ground, you can release your hands behind if that feels good, or up overhead. In our plow pose, there's a lot of lift through the hips. So don't feel that you're rounding through the spine and sinking down like this. But we're trying to feel all that lift here. That's why I quite like to bring my feet and my hands together. And then I can kick my feet into my hands and I can lift up more through the legs, the thighs, and the hips. And then taking a deep breath in here, and on the exhalation, we'll slowly be rolling out of this pose. And we'll be finding our fish pose as our last pose. So you can either keep your legs straight or you can cross them if that feels better. Bring your hands underneath the sacrum. Diamond shape in the hands, and then we're lifting the chest up as we release the head down. Maybe the crown of the head is onto the ground, maybe not. And we're opening up here through the chest. Also this, of course, is a pose in our throat chakra. Opening up, releasing. Breathing into the heart space. And then we'll be slowly releasing down into the ground. And finding our Shavasana from here. So take a moment. Each practice that we do has a different quality, and each practice leaves us feeling a little bit differently. So just feel into that. How do you feel? And however the practice makes us feel at the end, most of the time that's not how it makes us feel during the practice. Sometimes we struggle a little bit during the practice. Sometimes we have a lot of mind chatter during the practice. Sometimes we flow really freely in the practice, but then at the end, there's a different quality. There's a different sensation. There's something that arrives from the practice as a whole. So tap into that. Just feel into the sensations. So taking your time here, staying as long as you like in your Shavasana. It's so beautiful to just lay at the end of the practice and to just indulge and to just feel. So please feel free that you can allow yourself and give yourself that little gift. At any time that you feel ready, just gently come out, maybe setting an intention, something you'd like to take with you, something you'd like to work on, something you'd like to maybe leave behind, or something maybe that you want to bring into the world. Always a good opportunity. At each practice, there's a new beginning, a new start. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. With love and gratitude. Namaste.